Hey everybody, Shoebox Legends here. Thanks for joining me for a quick mail day episode today. I'm going to take a look at a handful of pickups that have come in over the past few weeks here that are all of the same subject here. These are singles that I picked up off of eBay and Sport Lots, and they all feature Leon Draisaitl of the Edmonton Oilers. So a guy who, at least at the time that I'm shooting this video, sometimes my videos maybe air a few days after I shoot them because I'll queue up a few at once. But at the time that I'm recording this, he is pacing the NHL in points again this year. So he's in the hunt for, another Art Ross trophy as a leading scorer, and maybe a Hart trophy for MVP as well if the Oilers can kind of get it together as a team. But here are a few cool singles that I've picked up of this guy. He just continues to be dirt cheap relative to his talent on the ice, in my personal opinion. And as an example of that, the most extreme example of that in today's episode, I got this card tacked onto a Sport Lots order that I was putting in with a seller. So this is a 2016 Upper Deck Ice. So it's like a third year card of Leon. So nothing crazy, but it's acetate. And I really enjoy this particular release. Looks actually a lot nicer out of that dingy case. This was available for the site minimum 18 cents on Sport Lots, which is just borderline criminal. I think I already have a copy of that card. I'm almost positive that I do, but for 18 cents, I'll just, tack that onto an order with free shipping all day long. And in that same order, I got a second Draisaitl card. This is a parallel from the Allure release. Is the NHL Shield, which I've heard referred to as like the cowhide parallel. I definitely see the resemblance there. I know couple channels that I've watched have kind of commented on how ugly these are. I guess I didn't really notice. Maybe I was just distracted by the shine, but in any event, this was one of the many, many Allure parallels that are out there, and it was one that I did not have of Draisaitl. And the same seller as the Upper Deck Ice that you see here had that available for 40 cents. So combined 58 cents there for those two cards. And again, came in a package deal. I was already getting a baseball card or two from this seller. And since the shipping was the same on 2 cards as it was on 4, just looked at what else they had available and, was able to score those 2 Draisaitls. So happy about those. Next up, this is a card that I've actually shown before, but I got another copy of it because the price was just irresistible. This is the Purple Spectrum out of Metal Universe, the 2020 Metal Universe release. Really nice looking cards. I've talked about them before. They're sort of like a poor man's precious metal gems. They're numbered out of 199. So I already have a copy of this one. But again, this was less than the $10 sticker price here. This must be what somebody was asking for this, at a card show or in a shop maybe. But I brought it home on a best offer for a couple or a few dollars less than that. So pretty crazy, and happy to add a second copy of that one and just kind of stick it away for the future. I'm just really a big believer in this guy. I don't know how you cannot be. Watching him play. I know the Oilers struggle as a team, but as an individual talent, there's no doubt this guy is one of the best players in the league. Here's another parallel from the most recent O-Pee-Chee Platinum set. This is the Red Surge, which I believe was a Target exclusive. This was really, really cheap online, just a couple bucks with very reasonable shipping via the standard envelope service that eBay launched last year, I believe. So happy to have that Red Surge. And he's a fun guy to collect just because he's dirt cheap. I mean, everything that's sitting out in front of you there combined, those 4 cards could be had for well under the cost of a blaster. And he's, one of the most talented players in the league. So there's not a lot of sports that you can do that with. It's sort of like, the equivalent in baseball of collecting like Juan Soto or Ronald Acuna Jr. at, rock bottom pricing. So it's rare in this hobby. And I think that's one of the reasons that I enjoy collecting Draisaitl so much. And then the last 2 cards kind of go together. I'm just getting them free of their packaging here, but they are the same parallel. And they're one of my favorite modern parallels. I've talked about it, numerous times now in the brief history of my YouTube channel. And that is the clear-cut parallels from Upper Deck. These have existed for, 5 or 6 years now in every Upper Deck flagship set since then. and they are, the card printed on an acetate see-through cardstock, exactly as the clear-cut name would imply. So was able to get Leon's 2020 base card in clear-cut format. These are not numbered. I've mentioned that when I've spoken about them before, but they are exceedingly rare. They fall at something like a rate of 1 per 3 hobby boxes, which is like 4 per case. And they run the length of the entire checklist. So, with a few hundred subjects and only 3 or 4 of those per case, you can imagine how hard it is to pull any one player. But despite that, I still continue to reel them in for like next to nothing. I want to say that Draisaitl was about $5. And then to go along with it, here's the Upper Deck Extended, which is kind of like their traded or update set, clear-cut version of the Draisaitl All-Star card. And again, got this for less than $5. And it's very easy to tell looking at the back. On some of these darker cards, the see-through element isn't quite the same. But if you flip the card over, they obviously had to adjust and just put very minimal player statistics, inside the border of the card just to keep the rest of this transparent. So got the update version to go with the base set version. And, I think both of those combined were about $10. So yeah, just continue to be surprised at how criminally underpriced Draisaitl is compared to some of his peers. And I will happily vacuum up as many of these as I can while they continue to fall in this price range. So there's a half dozen more examples for my budding Leon Draisaitl player collection. I appreciate you stopping by to check these out. I hope you saw something that you enjoyed today, and I will certainly be back in the very near future with some more sports card content. Until then, keep collecting and enjoy the hobby.